Hi, my name is Biobele and I'm working with Coco, Suraj, Terence, Diren, and Julia on the HRM job recruitment assignment.
Our objective is to hire 2 employees for the role of an IT service desk analyst and an organizational behavior lecturer for Rugby University. In doing that, we must first consider the employment law, economic climate, local standards of living, and competition. The law regarding holidays, hours, and minimum wage state that employees are entitled to 5.6 weeks paid holiday. Employees cannot work more than that 48 hours a week. National minimum wage has recently been increased to 7.2 pounds, but can differ depending on the age of the recruit. In terms of statutory sick pay, employees are entitled to 88.45 pounds weekly sick pay for a maximum of 28 weeks. It is important to note that SSP is only paid from 4th day of sickness. SSP for employees in education is dependent on employment contract. A term-time worker who becomes sick outside of their contract, for example during school holidays, is not entitled to SSP, as they are not an employee during those weeks. Where an employee is already entitled to SSP during a contract, entitlement will stop at the end of that contract. Where a contract continues between term times, any entitlement to SSP will continue during and after the holiday periods. Regarding the recruitment and the selection process, it is important to note that discrimination should be avoided. Clear and objective records should be set. Upon employment, an employment contract must be given. All candidates' information must be kept confidential. Work-life balance policy, such as parental leave, should be put in place. Granting procedures must be put in place. Upon employment, employers must be ensured they are in line with the duty laws laid out in the 7 Employment Act.
Since 2012, unemployment in the UK has consistently dropped from 8% and is currently on 4.98%. In Warwickshire, unemployment is at a low of 2.9%, which translates to approximately 12,800 unemployed out of 440,100 economically active people. Unemployment in Rugby, although slightly higher than Warwickshire, is still relatively low at the rate of 3.2%, which comes to approximately 1,800 unemployed out of 54,600 economically active. Although unemployment in the West Midlands is higher than that of the nation average, with a rate of 5.7%, again it is still relatively low in comparison to the 74.8% economically active. These figures show that labor supply is currently at a low, which could increase the difficulty in finding the right employee. Since October 2015, inflation has increased from -0.1 to 0.6 and is projected to increase consistently between 2016 and 2020 to 2.7%. Increase in inflation works 2 ways, as it leads to a higher cost of living, which can lead to higher wage claims by employees and applicants, or it can allow for employers to lower wages, depending on labor supply in the economy. At the moment, unemployment is low and is reducing, so the latter is more plausible due to the labor scarcity. The local standard of living in Coventry is averaged at £5,825 for general yearly expenses and £4,935 for yearly rent. For the IT service desk analyst, Rugby University is offering a relatively higher yearly wage than other parts of the region, but slightly lower than the national average, making the job more attractive within the West Midlands than outside it. For the OB lecturer, our offering seems quite standard in comparison to other universities in the area, such as Coventry University, who currently has the lowest offering of 30k to 33k, and Birmingham University with the highest offering of £43,742. In other words, it's not too high, neither is it too low, especially considering the fact that we are a relatively new school, making effective course management necessary. The essential requirements for the IT desk analyst are minimum 5 GCSEs at grade C, including English and Math, and this would allow that they have basic communication and problem-solving skills, ability to diagnose and relay technical issues and solutions to non-technical people, as they would be required to solve issues for people who are not technically inclined, and as such would need to communicate the issue and solutions to such people. Previously first-line customer service role, as this suggests experience in the role and less need for training. We find desirable CompTIA, A+, Microsoft Specialist or similar IT certifications, as these are currently the most popular IT service desk certifications of 2016. The essential requirements for the OB lecturer are PhD in Organizational Behavior, HRM, or relevant field, as this would attract research students. However, this can limit the amount of candidates attracted, as it is very high-ranked and specific. For research, we identified that most HRM lecturers are also take OB and vice versa. We would find desirable qualifications in diverse subjects, which would allow for flexibility and versatility in the long term. In line with the flexibility recruitment strategy we intend to adopt for this role. Previous experience in people management role, as they suggest they would have practical experience in the subject area, as well as experience in managing students.
In targeting the IT desk analyst, we are looking at two things. Firstly, psychographic targeting, particularly looking for technophiles, as they would be intrinsically motivated on the job, as it is within the area of interest, which is largely important as there are no reward schemes on the job. Secondly, geographic targeting, looking at areas within 1 hour of Rugby so as to reach a wide audience, having considerably the ability for them to make it to and from work on time. Having said that, it is important to consider travel expenses, and being that the salary is quite average, the job is only temporary. Anyone employed onto the role is likely to want to save money rather than spending so much on transportation. We, however, believe that those who are not open to the idea of long commutes to and from work will ultimately be deterred by the travel commitments. For the OB lecturer, we are looking to geographically target within 1.5 hours of Rugby, such as Coventry or Wolverhampton, amongst others, as this would ensure we are reaching a wide audience while still ensuring a close-knit target. Also, it is relatively good commuting time in relation to the salary and perks being offered. We must ensure our adverts are in line with Adida theory, which suggests that adverts must attract attention, deter inappropriate applicants, generate interest, arouse desire, and have a call to action. For the IT service desk analyst, we are looking at using both informal sources through the use of word-of-mouth recruitment and creation of affiliations with schools in the area, as the job is a 12-month contract and can act as a placement program for school leavers looking to take that path, and formal sources through the use of online job sites. We look to advertise both internally through current staff, students, and alumni, and externally through online job sites such as cwjobs.co.uk at a cost of £199, which is justifiable as they are leading specialist IT recruitment website for a permanent contract in IT jobs. Indeed.co.uk and careers247.co.uk, which are a top worldwide and in the Midlands respectively. We also look to make use of top local publications in the area such as Rugby Advertiser, Coventry Telegraph. Other means would include university websites and social media. We plan to run this ad between the 21st of November 2016 till the 21st of December 2016. Due to the fact that the job requirements are somewhat generic, we believe 1 month is good enough to run the ad campaign. We can, however, start earlier and run for 2 months due to a low labor supply, as this will give us ample time to receive a good number of candidate applications. But no more than 2 months, as this might break open the recruitment floodgates, in which case we may receive too many applications, reducing workforce productivity, as they would take more time to go through applications. Our focus here is to keep the cost of recruiting at a minimal, largely due to the fact that the role does not necessarily aid the generation of profit for the university. So for the OB lecturer, we are looking at using both informal sources, again through the use of word-of-mouth recruitment, as well as formal sources through online job sites and local publications. We would advertise internally by advertising within the business school, as current HRM teachers may be suitable for the role, and amongst alumni, as some postgraduate students could have gone on to do PhDs or may know suitable candidates. We would also advertise externally through online sites such as TES Jobs at a cost fee of £1,025, which is again also justifiable, as they are the world's largest online platform for teaching jobs, Indeed.co.uk and Monster.co.uk. Again, local publications such as Rugby Advertiser and Coventry Telegraph. We intend to run the ad campaign between the 21st of September 2016 till December 21st, 2016, as our target market is very specific and narrow. So we believe 3 months will give us ample time to advertise and ensure a good influx of candidate applications, and also increase chances of finding the right candidate. For this role, we are focusing on really honoring our target market to ensure the right candidates apply. So although it might somewhat be costly, it is ultimately worth it, as top quality lecturers are in fact a revenue generation stream. As such, integrity for the uni will increase the chances of more people coming to school there. In recruiting the IT desk analysts, we look to adopt the right person approach, as we need them for them to fit into certain criteria required by the organization with minimal training, as the role does not allow for continuity or growth. For the OB lecturer, we look to adopt all three approaches, the right person approach, because firstly, it is important to ensure that the new lecturer fits with the essential requirements. For example, they must be a PhD holder with previous university teaching. Malleability approach is the second approach, because subsequently it is also important for the lecturer to fit in with Rugby's creative and enthusiastic culture as specified. Flexibility approach is the third approach, because the university strategy involves them changing and developing and creating courses to suit the changing professional market in the area. As such, a lecturer with versatile skills can potentially apply those skills to new courses or modules in the future. In selecting the IT desk analyst, we look to use the application, references and CV, as this would allow us to assess and ensure the applicant meets the basic requirements, that is 5 GCSEs at a grade C, including English and Maths. Interviews, as this would enable us to assess the applicant's skills, knowledge and abilities, example their communication and problem solving skills. And in selecting the OB lecturer, we would use application, resume and references again, This would allow us to confirm the applicant meets the minimum requirements, that is a PhD in organizational behavior, HRM, or the relevant field. Interviews, as this would enable us to assess the candidate for good communication skills, as well as for their abilities as required by the person's specification. Thirdly, the trial lecture, as this would allow us to see the new recruit in action, giving us some idea of how they would carry on the role. In this case, we would be able to assess whether they can teach. However, we must note that this method is only a snapshot and does not necessarily depict the wholesome picture of what the new recruit would be like. In this case, it is possible that on the day of a trial lecture, the new recruit is feeling quite low, having a bad day, which may reflect on the lecture. This method might also make the new recruit feel nervous and pressured, especially as they would be supervised. In interviewing the IT desk analysts, we look to adopt the use of formal interviews, as we are simply trying to ensure that the new recruit fits the job requirements. A structured formal interview with structured responses is a quick and easy and less expensive way to do so, especially as it is key to keep the cost of recruiting for this role as minimum as possible. And in interviewing the OB lecturer, we intend to use formal interviews, as this would firstly enable us to assess whether they are the right person for the job in terms of their personality, skills, and abilities. Next, we would use informal interview as this would enable us to assess the candidate in a more relaxed environment for whether they actually fit in with the enthusiastic and creative culture that we are looking to continuously uphold. Prior to the recruitment process, it is important for us to assess the methods we look to adopt to ensure they are practical, sensitive, valid, and reliable. And after the recruitment process, we look to adopt assessment KPIs such as quality of hire, which allows us for the assessment of the quality of the candidate, recruitment cost ratio, which measures the total cost incurred during the recruitment process, and value of recruitment strategy, which simply measures the effectiveness of a firm's recruitment strategy, particularly when using multiple strategies.
Just to round off, we would leave you with a quote to highlight the importance of HRM. Famous American hotelier Steve Wynn once said, "Human resources isn't a thing we do. It's the thing that runs our business."
Thank you for listening.
In terms of statutory
Might as well add this to the blooper. Aren't you going to laugh, Terrence?
In terms of statutory sick pay, employees are entitled to £88.45 weekly sick pay.
October 2015.